am at the Outdoor Adventure at the Children's Museum right across from the Oregon Zoo with Patrick Dougherty. And Patrick, today is the naming day of this wonderful new sculpture. It is just great. And so I know that we met you from Garden Time a couple years ago. William interviewed you about your pomp and circumstance down there.
Yeah, that was a great piece, and I really reminisce about it all the time. I got some beautiful snow-covered pictures this year, and it really held up. It really looked beautiful.
It's growing, so it's so cool. So we'll be able to see this closer to the city, so that's going to be so much fun.
Well, thank you.
So for this piece here, do you come with an idea and you just kind of build it, or is there a different process?
Generally, I wait and see what's going to happen. You know, sometimes my site gets changed inadvertently. We really don't know what the material will be. We hope we know, but you know, oftentimes it doesn't pan out. We'll ask a landowner and they've changed their mind. And also, I don't know who's going to help me.
Oh,
so these are all important factors to actually accomplishing something. When I arrived, I found that there was ample interest in helping build it. The staff was very keen on it, as well as a lot of their volunteers, because they have, you know, a big family of people here. You know, I found out that we had a forestry company that was allowing gathering on their place, and we were going to gather a vine maple, which is a very flexible material. And then, you know, my site remained, and it was a kind of a secondary road. They had this downhill slalom of these switchbacks where kids love, but then off the edge there was a kind of secondary road that went down along the fence. And when I first arrived, I saw the children. We put our branches out here, and they go down, and rather than avoid the branches, they start stepping in them, you know, and their feet were getting caught, and they were loving it. And it gave me the idea of that, you know, for adults, they don't like stumbling blocks that much, but kids find them as an opportunity. And so that gave the idea of perhaps some big blocky looking stumbling blocks that were in your way, that interrupted this path, that made a chance for you know, a moment of you know, stopping for a minute to kind of look around. If you notice that on the site there's a tree that's kind of leaning downhill, and so things are a little out of kilter in the landscape. So the thought was that we would take our blocks and put them off kilter. We would make them topsy-turvy. We would lean them uphill and downhill, and you know, give a sense of off-centeredness, and maybe make it more visually interesting for the kids.
You really have to have a kid's eye view. That's really cool that you could have that as an artist. That's so much fun.
Well, it is true that objects for kids have to be scaled differently. You notice these are not that tall. They're not that elaborate, except for the fact that there's a lot of different passageways through it.
Fun,
I mean, the shapes themselves are kind of primary shapes, but you can find your way through small doors and look through windows into other ones and look out to see the world beyond. And everything is scaled down so that you can look out easily. You know, your mom can take your picture, and which is very important.
It is, and there were so many people that helped, I know, because you need a lot of hands to build this. It's unbelievable space.
Yes, we had a number of people. You know, we approach it as work structurally first. We dug some holes, we laid the piece out, dug some holes, set scaffolding, begin working on the structural bit, then we work on the cosmetics, and then we work on the aesthetics and so forth, and divide it up into kind of layering. So our volunteers plugged in at every regard. We had volunteers drilling holes with the big drilling machine.
Right.
We had volunteers helping us set and carry the scaffold, and, you know, starting our basic weave, and then, you know, as volunteers came back again and again, particularly if it was the same folks, you know, they got incredibly much better.
Right.
Because we all know a lot about sticks. You know, it's an imaginative object from childhood play. So you just have to reawaken that in the adults.
Right. And so I'm sure they were topsy-turvy, just like that space. And you have to tell us the name, because it's just a great story and a great name.
Well, my name for this piece is Big Mr. Twister. Of course, it's good to have something that's kind of dramatic. You want people to say something, and I'd already used Toad Hall, and that was really another great name, you know. But my neighbors had a tree in their backyard, and everyone played on that tree. They called it Big Mr. Twister.
Oh, that's perfect.
It was such a center of activity. for childhood play. So I thought, well, this is not a single thing, but as a singularity,
sure,
it could be Big Mr. Twister, and I think it comes easily to the lips and easy
it's
for
really
kids
fun
to say.
Well, we so appreciate it. You can see the kids around here, they are just having a blast, and you've given us such a wonderful piece of art to play in and to enjoy so much. So if you want to come down and see this, just come on down to the Children's Museum, just right across from the Oregon Zoo, to the Outdoor Adventure. There's so much to do for big kids and little kids, and Patrick, this was just tremendous. Thank you so much.
Well, I can testify from having been here 3 weeks that kids have fun.